Well, now that we have the YouTube thumbnail out of the way, you're probably watching this video because you're doubting between getting yourself a POC Tectal or a POC Kortal helmet, or maybe you're just curious what the difference is. Let me just tell you right now, the differences are not that big. But as with any apparel item, I think even also mountain bike helmets are a fashion thing or like a comfort thing before they are a safety item. You want it to look good, you want it to feel good, and you don't really want to crash it. So besides the fact that both these helmets are ridiculously safe, as you probably already know, I'm not going to be listing all of their safety features. I'm just going to be talking about the way I experienced using both of these helmets, and then maybe it helps you make your own choice. Now, first of all, how did I end up owning both of them? I really did not need to replace either one. I first got this POC Tectal here in 2018, so any comparison that I'll be making will be based on the contemporary models, which are, very close to this one. And it has served me really well. It has been comfortable all along the way. It's well ventilated. I think it looks pretty cool, and I haven't crashed it, so I don't know if it's as safe as they advertise. But 2023 rolled along. I just wanted something new that also looked cool. And I think this POC Kortal looks really cool. It looks slightly more modern than the Tectal one. Now, what is my use case? Because the use case is the main thing, isn't it? Everybody has a different shaped head. So it's like shoes. Some of them fit you, while they don't fit others at all. Me, I'm Flemish, I'm Belgian. I have the Dutch head, which means my head is rather long, rather narrow, and ridiculously large. When you do my circumference and when you measure it, I have 59 centimeters, which definitely puts me in like the large head category. And finding a helmet for a large, long, oblong head, like many Flemish, Belgian, Dutch people have, is not very easy. So after trying out multiple helmets, I ended up getting this POC Tectal first because it just fit in my head. It was comfortable. And then this one fits me just the same. Now, there is a slight difference in fit. When I first tried on this new one, I felt like it was slightly shorter. I felt like a little bit of pressure here, but then I just realized it just comes down to the fact that I've just worn out all of the padding on this one. It has just been compressed until this fits my head perfectly. And after taking this one out on a full day ride, I'm talking like wearing it from 10:30 a.m. to 6 p.m., I didn't notice it at all. It didn't bother me. There were no pinch points. There were no niggles, no nothing. It just did not bother me at all wearing it all day long, which is great. This is fantastic. I was, a little bit fearful. If you have a different shape or sized head, this might be different for you. So when you see YouTubers mentioning pinch points, I'm always like, yeah, sure. That's your head. That's not my head. Now, this is where we have a little bit of a difference with the POC Tectal. One thing that sometimes caused me annoying niggles after wearing it throughout, on long days on the bike is this stuff, the stuff that comes over your ears. Now, this little bit of plastic, with the pinch turny thing that, pinches it onto your head, comes down or seems to come down slightly lower, which makes it touch here where my ear comes down on my skull. And it just sits down on it ever so slightly. So after multiple hours of riding with this POC Tectal from, 2018, granted, me on my head, I would start to get sore, where it kind of rests on top of my ear. And I did not have this at all with the Kortal. So besides that, what are the other main differences? They're mainly, in my point of view, aesthetic. So you might notice that these Tectal helmets, even the contemporary models, they are rounder. They just look lighter. They look sleeker. They have more rounded back, more rounded shapes. They generally tend to look like a lighter trail helmet, open face helmet. And you would imagine, they also feel this way. So when you look at this Kortal, you can see it's like more like square shaped, has a bit more of this, a mechy, aggressive look to it. I have not measured their weights. I haven't weighed them in. They feel kind of similar when holding it like this. And while wearing it, I didn't notice any weight difference at all either. Actually, to be honest, both helmets feel really comfortable and light, and their weight has never bothered me. Now, besides that, both of them have something that I really like. And again, this comes down to my use case. Having a rather large head, I want to feel protected because the type of riding that I like to do is full day rides in the Alps. I rarely, if ever, visit bike parks. I don't like doing laps in bike parks. I like to go on like big adventures. I'm a really mediocre skilled rider, but I like to, go out on a big alpine day where I just pedal up or just take the lifts up and then ride down natural single tracks at really, really modest speeds. Also, I'm 37 years old. I don't have that many mountain biking friends. And when I do get a chance to ride that kind of day, quite often I will be alone. I will not have anybody join me at all. Sometimes when I'm lucky, I get to hang out with friends. But on many of these days, big days out, I will be alone. And usually, in the past, when I was riding cross-country style stuff here in Belgium, low countries, you wear these things, they kind of like sit on top of your head. And then when you have a big head, it just looks really ridiculous. But also what it does is like it leaves the sides and the back of your head really exposed. And this is what these helmets really, really excel at. You see these cutouts and these shapes, they really sit on top of your head and they just cover you. Let me just put it on again and maybe... I mean, you guys know how to look and judge by yourself, but these helmets, they really cover so much of your head and it just makes it feel like you're wearing something that's going to, properly protect you. I think they look cool, they feel comfortable, and they just inspire confidence. So if you do end up crashing, I feel like when I crash with one of these things on my head, I'm probably gonna be, in better hands than wearing a really cheap, maybe high top cross-country helmet. And, this is something that's always inspired a lot of confidence with me in these POC helmets. They just fit my head shape and they cover a lot of it in a very comfortable way. Now, when it comes down to safety features, they both share a lot of the same ones. They both have the MIPS system. The newer versions both have the improved MIPS system, which is basically a thing that is supposed to protect against rotational forces when you do end up crashing. Both of them have Areco reflectors, which is kind of a radar technology, which is more well known in like ski and snowboard circles. But sometimes, search and rescue helicopters will have them depending on where you're at. And then both of them also have this near field communication system. It's like a little chip in here. You can just nearly tap it with your phone, and then there's a little app which allows you to enter your data. Who are you? What's your address? What's your blood type? That kind of thing. I mean, I kind of doubt that when search and rescue workers, when they do come on the scene, I think this is probably one of the last things that they'll be looking out for. But it just makes it feel like you're really well-rounded, really well thought of products, having all of these safety features. They do exist and they are present. Another difference here between the Tectacl and the Kortal is that the Kortal has been rated for e-bikes. There's this Dutch e-bike standard, and this is one of the very few mountain bike helmets out there, which is rated to be compliant with that standard while riding e-bikes, which mainly means that you're expected to be going at higher speeds and potentially being exposed to bigger impacts, which would make, on paper at least, the Kortal a higher rated helmet than the Tectacl when it comes down to impacts. Another small difference here is that the visor on the Kortal is designed to break away, which is not mentioned. I just checked on the POC website for the Tectacl helmets. It also has a really light and flimsy visor. I mean, not that it moves around while you're riding, but I would expect both of them to break away in a crash. But this one is particularly designed to break away in case of a crash. So in that case, the higher e-bike rating, the visor that's designed to break away. In that sense, the Kortal is, at least on paper, supposed to be safer. Both of them are just as comfortable. Both of them are extremely well ventilated. Both of them are light. Both of them just look and feel like premium helmets which really is cool. It's something I appreciate, because if you've ever seen a bunch of mountain bikers together, quite often they will look like, you know, like a candy shop, really. I mean, come on. Everybody's wearing these mismatched fluorescent power screamy colors, you know. But in more recent years, you know, as mountain biking is coming along, mountain bike clothing is starting to become more stylish and more tasteful, so to say. So you can get some really nice mountain bike clothing these days. And the main thing that you'll be, you know, seen with all the time in every scenario is going to be your helmet. So you just want it to look cool. And these things just look and feel premium, and they cost premium. Again, you know, to finish up, I'm not going to take this out too long. For me, with my long, big Dutch head, they fit really nicely. If you have maybe a wider, shorter, rounder head, maybe they won't. This is why you need to try out in the shops. Their stats are great. Their ventilation is great. I'm not going to repeat all of this. They're just really good helmets. And the difference between both of them is extremely minimal. So when it comes down to your choice, I hope, you know, I gave you a little bit of insight, and I hope this is going to help you choose. So whatever you end up choosing, or, you know, whatever your opinion is on either of these helmets, I would like to hear. And if you can leave me a comment, maybe leave me a like, that would make me quite happy. Well, that's it. And hopefully see you on another video.